Hello,
Hi.
Emily, can you hear me?
Yes,
How are you?
I'm doing good.
I'm sorry, this is my first time doing this stream at this platform.
Sure.
So if something goes wrong, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good. Where are you now?
Home.
Oklahoma?
Oklahoma City, yeah.
Oklahoma City. Nice. So first, thanks for the for coming here and talking to me. The MMA Premium is really happy that you were talking to us. First, I wanna ask, why is your nickname Gordinha?
Well, my coach is Brazilian. So when I started at the gym several years ago, I was much heavier than I am now. So that came from.
So how is your Portuguese going then?
It's slow. The Brazilian language is very difficult. And all the Brazilians I know talk very fast, so it's hard for me to catch on, but I'm learning a little bit.
I'm sure you know at least the bad words.
Yes, for sure.
Nice. I want to start as well asking, you started your career as a wrestler in college. When was the time that you thought like that you really believed that, you want to be an MMA fighter?
Yeah, so I did. I'm from California and I moved to Oklahoma to wrestle in college. I didn't do the whole program, I just did about a year of it. Just wasn't really for me. School wasn't really for me. So then I transitioned, found a gym, and just started training. And I realized, hey, I just kind of want to fight and try it. And after my first fight, I was hooked and I just decided this is what I want to do. And I've done all my fights with Giuliano Galuppi, my coach, and I will never fight without him. I've had him in my corner every single fight, and we're just a team.
Yeah, a good relationship with the coach, it's really important, right?
Right.
So, so you just fought last month. Was it last month? Beginning of this month, right?
Uh-huh. Yes.
So you just fought Juliana Tai. And how did you feel for that fight? And how, you won, obviously, the unanimous decision. How did you feel in that fight?
I started off a little slow in the first round, but I feel like I really picked it up in the second and the third. And by the end, I felt really good.
Um, Wait, I have something to ask you here. Sorry. Did you think Juliana was disrespectful in any way to you because what she was saying before the fight, how she was gonna, do the fight and how she was gonna win?
I don't really read or watch articles or videos from my opponent before. I just kind of do my own thing. Of course, after the fight, I have gone back and read some stuff, but I don't think it's disrespectful. I think it's just part of the game. You've got to be confident in yourself and whatever you believe you're going to do in that fight. So I think that's just what she was doing and doesn't bother me at all.
And how was for you? You got this fight. You have 4 weeks to do the camp. How was with this new normal? That we're living, being with the whole coronavirus happening. Do you think this is gonna last for your next fight as well? And did it work? How was it?
Yeah, I do think the rest of the year at least will probably be this way, which is fine. The gym was closed for a while and then it was able to open back up. So part of my camp, I was able to do the classes with, everybody. The rest of the time, I just have a few partners at the gym that I've been using, drilling my live stuff. And honestly, I felt fine. I got everything done that I needed to. So I was confident that I had trained everything necessary. And it wasn't a problem for me at all. Actually, I liked it. I like being able to just do, have a few partners and just work specific things instead of sometimes you have to do all the classes. And I love the classes, but it's hard to fit everything in. There's only so many hours in a day that everyone can make the schedule work. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my time. I enjoyed my camp, and I wouldn't mind doing another camp that way.
So do you feel it was a little more personal?
Yeah, I was able to do a lot more specific drilling than normally. Just like I said, just as far as fitting it into a schedule. I normally do specific drills, but I was able to do that. Just kind of the majority of my training was one-on-one, specific, small group instead of the classes, just because the gym was closed most of the time.
How about for your weight cut? Was it just fine? How do you do it with that?
Yeah, so obviously during the quarantine, I gained some weight at the beginning, but as soon as I knew that Shannon was going to do a show, I started to get back under control. And of course, my coach Giuliano is diet, nutrition, as well as strength conditioning and jiu-jitsu. So he kind of made sure I was on track and able to cut the weight in the amount of time we had. And I had a really good cut actually last time.
So you fought, the main event, this last fight, the one before you fought for the title for Invicta for the strawweight. Do you feel that this fight that you just won, were you closer to try a title shot again?
I don't know. I don't know what Shannon's plans for the division are. I would hope that I'm a top contender, but I won't ask for it. I really just want to stay active, stay busy, and take whatever fight Shannon gives me, short notice or full camp. I would never say no to a title fight, but I don't feel the need to ask for it. I really just want to stay busy.
But is there anyone that you like to fight now?
The 115 in Invicta is pretty deep. I think there's a lot of people. I don't have anybody specifically, but I do know that there's quite a few people that haven't fought recently. So I'm sure that they could be potential matchups. There's a lot of girls with bigger records, and I'm sure it will be somebody like that. It's close to my record because I've got quite a few fights.
At Bellator at some point in 2018, you had 3 losses, one after the other. How did you feel? Like, how did you keep yourself motivated to go back to the gym and train and know that you would go back to the top and get better?
Right. That is, it was difficult. I had lost 3, and it wasn't necessarily because of my skill set. It was a mentality that I was battling, and I lost 3, and I said, you know what, I need to figure something out, and I need to work out whatever is going on in my head and get myself ready to compete. And so I found a really amazing sports psychologist who has made an incredible difference in my game, and so finally now my skills that I've had for quite some time, they're able to come out and show in my fights because I'm able to use them now. And so I probably hadn't, if I didn't lose those 3 fights, I wouldn't have found her, and she's made a big difference in my game. So, I'm not thankful that I've lost those 3 fights because that was a very difficult time to come back from. It's hard to lose 3 and then in that next fight, like, be confident because you had lost. So I'm just grateful that I have found Nicole, my sports psychologist. She's been phenomenal, and I feel much better now where I am mentally and physically. And I just feel like each fight, my skills that I've had are going to continue to show.
I always think that athletes, need to have a coach, like, mentally, because I also think it's such a mental game that you guys go through, for any other person. I think a psychologist is really good just to talk about life. But can you go through a little bit to maybe motivate some of the athletes that, maybe doesn't even know what to do, and that's a good way to, that can lead them.
Right. So like I said, I feel like, I've had all these skills that I just haven't shown. And it's difficult because you have talent or skill or whatever it is, and you just haven't been able to use it. And it's kind of confusing. Like, why am I not able to do this in a fight? And so, a sports psychologist to me is really just unlocking what's in your brain, kind of making it so that you can connect your mental and your physical, and you could use those skills that you have. Because sometimes, you're nervous, or you're fearful or whatever emotions you experience before a fight, it's difficult to get it under control or to understand what's happening. So I just feel like Nicole, for me, really just translates what's going on in my brain into a language that I understand and can work with and can still fight and perform. So she's really helped me understand what's going on mentally. And like I just said, just unlocking those things that I haven't used and am now in my last 4 fights have been showing they're finally coming out. And I credit that for sure to mental training. It's just like physical training. It's something you need to work. You need to work your mind and you need to understand what's happening in your brain so that you can go out there and perform at the high level.
For you, what did you think was the most, that it was triggering you?
Say that again.
What was that, mentally you think it was blocking you or stopping you to get better at your game or to show what you could do at the octagon?
Right. Probably just self-pressure, maybe. I'm not exactly sure what pinpoint it is, but I would say self-pressure. I just put way too much on myself. And, some athletes, they thrive on pressure. I'm just not one of them. I like to stay calm, cool, and collected and just be confident in myself. And I just needed to figure out how to do that.
And where do you see yourself in the future?
I've got big goals, obviously, everybody does, but I'm in no rush. I've got a big record, so I think a lot of people think that I'm like an older veteran, which is cool. However, I am 26, so I've got, 10 plus years left. I'm not rushing and I'm not going anywhere. Where I'm going is one fight at a time until I hopefully reach my goal, which is to be competing against the most elite 115 division in the world.
Do you see yourself in any other organization than Invicta?
For now, no. I'm very happy with Shannon and Invicta. If anything, I would love to go to the UFC, but like I said, no rush. Invicta for me is not just like a one fight and then into the UFC. I don't want to just rush that time. Invicta's a great organization, Shannon's amazing, and they've got a great division. So I'd love to fight a few more girls there and, hopefully one day get called up into the UFC because that is where the most elite girls are.
Did you watch the fight this last Saturday?
Yes.
So what did you think about the Rose Namajunas and Jessica?
I'm a big fan of Rose. I've been watching her since her Invicta days. She's just incredible, honestly. I'm a big technique fighter. I really love watching technical fights, and Rose is just an incredible technique athlete, and so watching her is just amazing.
Yeah, it was the fight of the night. So
right, and of course, it wasn't just technique. That was a straight up brawl too. So it had everything. That was an amazing fight.
And I think, as you said, Rose also had that same path as you. At some point in her life, she kind of had to mentally figured it out what she want, which is like also said what you just told us about, getting a psychologic coach to, work on your mental game as well. So she also went through something like you, which is pretty normal that, fighters go through. Do you feel that she inspires you?
Yeah. I watch a lot of the girls fights, and I do have a lot of fighters that I would say are my favorites. Rose is one of my favorites, but it is inspiring because, like I said, it's cool to watch somebody that's undefeated and doing so well. That's a whole other thing, but to watch somebody fall down and have to pick themselves up, it's just more incredible to me because it's a hard path. Some people have harder paths than others, and Rose for sure, sometimes you need to stop, pick yourself back up, get your mental under control and get back in there. And I like watching that because I feel like that is really inspiring to a lot of people that maybe want to fight but haven't, they're too scared or nerves, or you've lost 3 in a row and you don't know what to do. I just feel like, characters like Rose is just inspiring to see that you don't have to be undefeated to do well or to be successful. You can have a crazy record. You could lose 3, come back and win 10, things like that inspire me because it's real. It's real life. You know, people, you're going to lose. You're going to have to figure out how to get back up and get back on track. And losing a couple of times doesn't mean you can't reach your goals.
Exactly. What are the other fighters that you admire?
Joanna obviously is just incredible, technique and everything. Claudia Gadelia, I'm a fan of. My coach knows her and I really like her. And you know, I could do a whole list, but I really do love to watch those 3 fighters. And there's a lot of new fighters coming up that are really incredible to watch, but those 3 are probably my top.
Have you ever thought about going like to a camp with them or just go visit their gym to train to get some experience with them, especially because one day you can fight them, but you know, by now you are in a completely different organization. Would you ever thought about that?
Yeah, I have actually trained with Claudia, which was cool. It's a cool experience. And I've been to American Top Team in Coconut Creek. I haven't trained with Joanna or anything, but I have seen that environment and all the girls there. And that was an experience. And of course, I would love to go to Colorado. I actually have a friend, Mallory, who's out in Colorado, and she's trained with all of those girls up there. And so, you know, maybe one day I do that. But it's cool. I do like to go out and see other gyms and other girls. It's just a style change that's good to change your own game.
To get some experience, right? Especially the ATT here, because I'm in Miami. They have so many different, weight classes and girls that will be a good experience.
Right.
And I saw that you really like pit bulls. Is that right?
Yes.
So how many do you have now?
I have 6 dogs.
They're all pit bulls?
Yeah, they're all pit mixes. A few are more obvious than others, but they're all mixed.
Well, I'm a big fan. I have my own people for the last 13 years. It was just snorting all my ears just now. So was there something that you started just like out of the blue, or how did you end up with 6 now?
I know, it's crazy. Oh,
here they are.
I'm gonna go outside. They're gonna bark. Yeah, so I started off, I had two dogs, and I just I got into the rescue, I found a rescue and had adopted one, and so I follow all these pages, and I keep seeing all these dogs all the time, and some were in boarding that were stuck, and some were just, I thought were too cute, and I foster failed a couple times, and now I have 6 dogs. So,
are they there with you?
Yeah, they're inside.
Oh, they're all inside?
Yes, they're crazy.
So you started something to help, like, did you ever thought about getting more into that, helping the dogs or getting them adopted?
Yes, I try. There's a whole bunch of rescues around here, and I try my best to share posts, and I fostered, but I cannot foster because then I end up keeping them. So I don't do that anymore. But I tried to share, and I've done a fundraiser before, and I'm thinking about doing that again pretty soon here with some of my Invicta gloves and stuff. So I'll let you know if I do anything like that. But
yeah, please do, because then we can also post and put the word out there.
Yes, I think I'm going to do that within the next couple of weeks. But I'm just a sucker for pit bulls, really, is what it is. And I've got 6, but I need to get some land. They run this house for sure.
Well, I totally understand you. That's the same here in my house. And Emily, just one more question. If you weren't a fighter, what do you think would you be?
What do you mean? What?
Like, if you have never go through the MMA path, what other career or profession do you think you will do?
You know what? I've thought about it, and like I said, I started school for kinesiology, so like sports psychology or sports science.
Body movement.
Yes. Yeah. And I couldn't finish it. Just school is not for me, and I've often thought about it, what I would do, and I just don't know. I do work with dogs now, like a kennel tech. I work at a training facility as a kennel tech.
Oh,
So
what
my
is the
goal,
counter attack?
so
Sorry.
basically, so I just take care of the dogs in between their training sessions. So um, they do they meet with their trainers, and the trainers work them and teach them and stuff, and then I just take care of them in between that, let them out, feed them, stuff like that. And so my goal eventually is to be a dog trainer, but fighting is my priority for now. But eventually I'll be a dog trainer and kind of get into the dog world a little bit.
Well, that's awesome. I love to hear that. I think there is so much space, there, and so many dogs that needs to be rescued and find a family. So thanks for helping them to do all of that.
That's how I ended up with 6.
And Emily, can you talk a little bit more about the fights that you had with the other 2 Brazilians that you fought the previous years as well?
Yeah, so I don't ask for fights ever. In Bellator, I think I had two of my fights were with Brazilians, and then in Invicta, actually Invicta 1. Bellator might have had 3. I'm not sure. But anyways, they just have, it's just how I got matched up. They offer me fights and I take them. That's just kind of the way it is. And I've just coincidentally fought several Brazilians.
How's your jiu-jitsu going? Because you had like submitted at least 4 girls in your, as in your record.
Yeah, my coach Juliano is a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt, so he's very big on jiu-jitsu, and that's probably one of my biggest chunks of training that I do. A lot of it is jiu-jitsu.
Are you a black belt?
No, I'm a brown belt, and no rush on anything. I just got my brown belt pretty recently, so but I do enjoy jiu-jitsu. It's probably one of my favorite aspects. Jiu-jitsu saves, basically, is what my coach says all the time, and it's true. And I've seen it change a lot of lifestyles, and people come into the gym one way, and they start learning jiu-jitsu, and it just changes people. And so I'm a big advocate for personal growth, and so I think jiu-jitsu really does change people.
Did you get to train jiu-jitsu with Claudia?
I did, yes. She definitely worked me a little bit.
Yeah, because she's being a black belt forever now.
Yes.
That's awesome. Let me see. I was waiting for, I don't know if you met him, Abilio, to see if he was going to come in as well to ask you some questions. So let me just double check if I have everything. Because you spoke so well that it's almost like, oh, she answered everything without even me asking. Sorry, give me a second.
Okay.
Oh, your fight with the Invicta for the title shot with Murata, it was a split decision. Did you like saw the fight again? Was it something that you thought you did it wrong, or maybe it could have gone both ways, or you saw that she really won?
Yeah, so I've rewatched it, and it was a close fight. I don't like to whine about fight results because, it is what it is. The judges did what they did that day. I do feel like it was close, very close fight. Maybe could have gone either way. But, overall, I'm very satisfied with what I did in that fight and the skills that I showed. So I'm, the result is the result. It's not the first decision that I've lost that was very close and questionable. But, Kanako is really good. Obviously, she just got signed with the UFC. It was a close fight. I do feel like I showed a lot of skills, and I'm happy with myself, regardless of the close decision.
And how was it for you when you were able to knock out someone in the octagon?
Yeah, it was cool.
Because being a strawweight, people always judge a lot, saying that you girls don't have as much power,
Right.
to be able to knock out.
Right. Yeah. It was satisfying. It was fast, in that fight. It all just happened so fast, and I'm just happy that I took advantage and was able to finish the fight. So it was cool, and I'm glad to show that strawweights do have power.
Have you ever been knocked out at the gym while working out or training?
Luckily, no, I have not. I've got a few teammates that hit pretty hard, but thankfully have not been knocked down or knocked out.
How do you feel about, this whole hater, the online hater, that judges you and all the other fighters, and it's so easy for them just to say something?
It's frustrating, but it is a part of it. For some reason, people just think that because our lives are kind of on display that you can go in and just say whatever you want. So it's annoying, but it does teach you that you need to listen to the opinions of people that do matter and not just listen to everybody. Otherwise, you'll get sucked into kind of a whirlwind, which is difficult. If you're listening to everybody's opinions, it's just going to drive you crazy. So it's cool if you use it right. You can learn how to weed out, the correct people to listen to and the correct opinions not to value. And so, earlier in my career, I struggled with that. Anytime I saw any, rude comments or anything, it would just kind of bug me. But now it's just, I know what it is. It's a part of it. It's somebody that has no idea really what's going on. Just sharing their opinion that is most likely not true or not valuable.
And can I get your opinion about Paige VanZant? She's pretty big. She got pretty famous a lot outside of, the octagon.
Sure.
Do you think influences her game as well? While she's trying to be a star outside of the octagon, or it's just it gets better for her, so she can make so much more money, or
I think she's using what she has to, better herself in her life, make more money or whatever it is. And it's difficult for her because she's got so much attention on her, like her last fight, there's so many people talking bad about it. And, if it was anyone else that didn't have that much, attention, nobody would have said anything. They would have just said, oh, unlucky, she got finished pretty quickly. But because it's Paige, who talks a lot and has a lot of influence, people want to say more or be more rude to her, but I mean, she's just another girl and another fighter that's just trying to make her life as best as possible, make as much money, get as much attention as you can, and better yourself, get to the organization that treats her the best. So, I'm not sure where she'll go. I'm sure she'll go somewhere else. But, I just think that everyone's trying to do their best for themselves, and more people get more attention. And sadly for her, she gets a lot of good attention and a lot of bad attention is what I think happens with her.
How do you feel about her or anyone else that goes free agent?
Her boyfriend or her husband is in Bellator, so I have a feeling that's probably where she'll go. Bellator does like to take former UFC athletes because they are talented. Paige is talented, just had a unlucky run with injuries and in this last fight. And so I bet they'll make a husband and wife duo in Bellator is what I'm thinking will happen.
Yeah. And she got, pretty good top fighters as well, not any saying that she's bad or anything like that. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to share with us? Like something that is happening in your life or anything?
I'm pretty much a fighter and my dogs. So that's pretty much all that's going on in my life. That's fighting and dogs is what revolves around my life. So that's about it. But yeah.
And then you had to learn some Portuguese to go. Maybe one of your fights will be in Brazil. That would be exciting.
Yes, I'm working on it. I'm working on my Portuguese.
Have you been ever to Brazil?
I've been one time. I would love to go back, and even fighting there would be really cool experience.
Where did you go in Brazil?
I went to Vitória.
Vitória, Espírito Santo.
Yes.
Did you like it?
Yes. Yeah, I did. It was beautiful, and I had a really fun time there. But it was quite some time ago, so I'd love to go back now, maybe train there. I think my coach has got some friends there that we could maybe meet up with, and that would be cool. I was like an amateur when I had gone there the first time, so I didn't really do any training or anything. And I'd like to take advantage and maybe train there next time.
Perfect. Well, Emily, thank you very much for your time here with us. I really appreciate it that you took this time to come talk to us. I'm gonna edit some stuff and then I'll send you the link so you can see the interview as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good luck, and let us know about when you do anything for the dogs.
Yes, I will send you a message about that.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.